What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy KC, and I'm here with
Cisco.
We got King's Crew, and today we're gonna be reacting to "Do All Black Moms Think the Same?" It's a video about Jubilee. The OG video link is gonna be down in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, sir.
Tell
Yes,
us
sir.
what you want us to react to next, and
Or if you want to see anything else,
anything else.
Let us
It could be
know.
anything. And
not too much though.
Not too much.
Not too much,
Don't get carried away. But without further ado, let's get into this controversial topic. It should be interesting.
Hip hop is a bad influence on children.
Let's see.
3, 2,
You know they love
1,
saying that.
go.
Do they?
They love
I've never
saying
heard that before.
hip hop be
The songs that we grew up on, like Missy Elliott and Sierra, they were popping. The beats are, they get
Depending-
smooth, and
depending
that's
on the
what
song.
makes
Depending
us
on the
us.
Yeah.
But the
'Cause not all
lyrics,
hip-hop
you
is that
guys,
crazy
all of the
shit.
time, it's always about sex and drugs here and there, and it's something that can be changed. I know a good amount of the R&B songs that we have are very soulful, gearing towards Black beauty nowadays, but a good majority is very inappropriate.
yeah.
I just saw already just.
We disagree.
I love
Yeah,
it.
me
I
too.
feel
Yeah,
you
she said.
strongly, and I think it's the wording of the question. Hip hop.
Mhm.
Everything is bad for our kids. It's not just hip hop.
That's
And when
what I
you
was
say
gonna say.
R&B, 95% of R&B songs talking about sex. Let's romance you.
That's all
Let's
they
turn
care
up the lights.
Exactly.
And so when we continue to perpetuate like it's hip hop, no ma'am, country's talking about drinking, rock and roll's talking about killing themselves. Everything is
Jesus
impacting
Christ.
our kids.
That's
And so
true.
what we have to get back to doing is talking to our kids. We
Right.
cannot let music be the sole influence for our children.
Right, but that makes it very broad. The question is for hip hop in particular, and but like you said, that's what our role is for as mothers, to teach them right from wrong. Because I mean, we were raised
Okay,
in that
Patrice.
environment, but you guys are amazing women. Y'all have a good head on your shoulders, and so do I. So we
Right.
have to continue that and teach our children the same way.
I feel like there's a difference between hip hop and rap. To me, hip hop is Biggie, Tupac, even Kendrick Lamar. Those type of music have messages, and
Okay,
it gives them an
okay.
open sight of what
Okay.
our culture is, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, when we speak about rap, Megan Thee Stallion, I don't want my child listening to that. Or, you know, Nicki Minaj, I'm not really feeling that either.
I don't have a daughter to say this woman who raps, my daughter can't listen to that. But I do have sons who I don't like for them to listen to NBA Youngboy. His lyrics are too much for them.
NBA
And
Youngboy
the things
music
that
be
he say, from my knowledge, he's speaking truth. He's
there
speaking
was a tweet that was like he'll go from rapping about cussing somebody out to confessing his feelings and telling the shorty he love her to doing drive-bys on some niggas. and it's all within like 15 seconds. It's all within 15 seconds of the song. Is
We'll be going through it.
NBA's music is
I agree
bipolar.
with the last topic though. She was like, is it their responsibility to like,
Yeah.
you know, talk to their kids? Because
Yes,
like with the whole, you know, Cardi B and Meg song, like, you know, a lot of people was like, oh, y'all are bad influences
yeah,
on
but
little
it's,
girls.
like,
But it's like,
how are they the bad influence if you let your child put this on?
don't have your child listen to it. Like that, it's as simple as that.
Cardi
like,
don't even let her child listen to it.
Exactly.
She made the song and she stops her child from listening to it.
It's
Why
that
can't you do the same?
it's that easy. Just don't turn it on for your kids if you don't want. Like it's not their responsibility.
They make parental blocks for a reason, and I'm pretty sure you must not know what that is.
Like it's not Cardi or Meg or anybody like or any rapper's responsibility or any artist's responsibility to be a role model or like set a good example for these kids. Even though
your responsibility.
right, even though it kind of turns out that way, like a lot of kids or young people look up to these famous people, which they really shouldn't be, because they aren't the best people to be looking up to in the first place.
They
but
still human at the end of the day. They still human.
it's not their responsibility, you know.
life situations of his own. I just don't want that type of enthusiasm given to my kids.
I would go as far to say it's not rap, it's not hip hop, it's certain lyrics. Because, like you said, we think of Megan Thee Stallion, who has a lot of songs that are very empowering besides
Meg be
just the
rapping.
things that you talk about. But you got to listen to her album to find
Meg
and
is
pluck
aggressive.
If that's a woman's choice to speak whatever she wants to speak, it's us women that are attacking her for that choice. For me, when I hear that hip hop is bad, it's hip hop is bad as it pertains to Meg and Nicki. But you rocking that Tupac and that Biggie and that Jay-Z, who's a whole adulterer. That's okay? No, let's not do that.
Come on now.
I want my child to marry someone black.
I know what you mean, but like, why should say it like that?
Because that put more emphasis. He's an adulterer. It sounds more illegal.
Right?
It sounds way more illegal.
I want my child to marry someone black. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm black and I'm proud. No, I want them to be in love. I want them to be in love with a black man. Society will have us believe that there are no good black men out there, and that's simply not true.
I want my daughter to be loved and loved well, and I don't care what the skin color is, because then that puts her in a box to thinking that I have to date a black man because my mom wants me to date him. That's what we're putting in our children's head.
That will get in some people's head.
Man, it is so like.
I can see why people say it. It's blatant, obvious reasons why people would say, yeah, like, date within your race if you want to be loved properly because of, like, how people view other races and whatnot. I can see why people say that.
It's easier to, like, connect with another black person or another white person if you're white. But I don't get the whole negative look on interracial relationships.
Yeah.
Like,
at the end of the day, you could do whatever you want.
I don't get the whole like, oh, he's with a white girl, he's so and so. Like, I don't like he's with whoever or she's with whoever. You can date whoever you want to date. Like,
I mean, as long as they a decent person.
I don't get that.
You know,
I don't get that.
As long as they a decent person, you can be with whoever you want to be with. I can see why people would, you know, go for the whole date within your own race thing, like be strongly to that. I can see why. It's obvious reasons, but like at the end of the day, if they're a decent person, then what's the harm?
I don't. Yeah, it's dumb, man. People are dumb.
If you agree with the answer, that's what you're probably telling your daughter or your son, and that's fine if that's what you believe in. But we want to make sure that we emphasize a lot more than just dating a black man. We want to emphasize, well, how is he treating you? Is he loving you right? Is he leading your household? Is he supporting you? I guess I want to stress that I want my daughter to be loved because I've been hurt. I don't care. It doesn't matter who I've been hurt by. I've just been hurt. And so at the end of the day, because I felt hurt and she's experiencing that with the lack of a man not being in her life, I don't care what race he is. I want her to understand what love is, period.
Yeah, I think we have to be careful in our conversation, though, in grouping a preference with lack of acceptance.
That's what I was going to say.
My preference.
I think I don't think how the question is worded. I think it's like, wait, what's the question? Like, would you rather
want your child to marry somebody black?
Right. Like she said, it's more of a preference, or like you would rather that, but it's not like if you date a white person, you out the family, you know? Well, at least in this situation. I know other, like, you know, people
she said,
out in the world.
Preference is lack of acceptance.
Right.
So, like, my preference is this type of person, which means basically what she's saying is preference is not a lack of acceptance. It's basically like somebody saying, oh, when I go out to the club, the type of chick I see myself pulling up on would be like, you know, a light-skinned chick, or, you know, like a foreign chick, you know, somebody from, you know, out of the country, you know, Brazilian, maybe French, something like that. And then people will take that and be like, oh, so you don't like black women.
You don't like black women.
So but it's like you can like anybody, but you're obviously gonna be you know.
Your preference is your preference.
Your preference is your preference, and you're gonna be I can't find a word, but your mind is already rewired to. Your mind, your thought process, whatever it is, your genetics is already wired to be attracted to this specific person. feel me? You can find beauty in whatever.
Exactly.
You know, you can pull up on whoever. A chick bad, you pull up on her. A dude fine, you pull up on him. But there's a specific one that's like, you see that and it's like, that's what I like.
Right.
That's what I like. That don't mean you don't like the other ones. It just means you like this one more than the others.
You to marry a black man who is smart, who's kind, who's generous, and all those things. But I'ma love you. You still gonna come to my house, and we still gonna make fun of him because he got unseasoned chicken, and he can still sit at the table, and we gonna do that too. But my preference is that they bring a nice black man home.
I just don't want to be 95 and I have a generation of people and then the great-grandkids don't look like me. It's just, I mean, I know it just seems like it's a visual thing, just as skin color, but I want to just have a family of us, what we created, what me and my husband created.
It's just odd to me that when it comes to interracial relationships, we automatically assume black and white. When I think interracial relationship, I think anyone that's not the same race. So if he comes home with an Asian, with an African, with, you know, whoever, I will do my best to accept her. And as long as she don't try me, and as long as ain't nobody calling me the N-word or asking me to touch my hair and all this stuff,
that's like any
as
race,
long as you love
black
him for
people
him,
too.
it's not a fetishization because he's a black man.
But she said the whole like touching hair and N-word. That's
yeah.
I believe in whooping your child as punishment. 3, 2,
they all
one,
can be strongly
go.
watch.
Yeah, I beat my kids. Some would agree.
I disagreed with it because it's not about
How do
taking
you
that.
feel about that? How you feel about that? Whooping kids as a punishment?
Me?
How you feel about that?
I've never gotten beaten, so my mom doesn't really.
Is that true? Has he never gotten beaten?
I've never really gotten beaten. Maybe once, but it wasn't like a get the belt. Like it wasn't, you know. It was just like a you did something stupid. So you know.
I definitely got my ass whooped. Definitely got my ass whooped.
It's crazy how
I'm
like
talking about like as a from your
my
perspective.
perspective.
Like if you like seeing yourself, you used to grow up and have a kid. What would you?
That's
feel
hard
about
to
that?
say because I'm not
like from dealing. All right, so think about it. From dealing with BJ,
right?
And you was to have a kid. What would you? And he did something. What would be your response? What would be your form
if
of
BJ
punishment?
was my kid?
Yeah. Or it could just be like what would you do with BJ? Period. I mean, because he is a kid.
I mean,
you
yeah,
take care of him.
right.
So, like, what would be your form of
now?
punishment?
I speak to him because he's at the age now where you know. I think speaking to him and explaining why you did something like this is better than just being like, "Hey, come here, don't do it again." You know, like it's like cause now he understands. Like you know, if I explain it to you this way, he can comprehend now why that's not a good thing to do. But I don't know.
My perspective
the
on it
thing,
is
I don't know.
I'm 50-50 on it because, like you said, and like that's the major point. Like what you said, like him being at the age to understand.
Yeah,
that's the major point because like once you could talk to them and they could understand like what they did was wrong, why they shouldn't do that. Then talking to them and like giving a different, you know, maybe another form of punishment, like take something away from now, time out, something like that, to make them sit and think like, damn, I really messed up. That's that could get to them. But like when they don't understand and it sound horrible because like it's like they more at a younger age where they won't understand the verbal communication, so it's like they do something wrong. Like the same thing with touching the stove. You touch a stove that's hot, it burns you.
Right.
You do something you weren't supposed to do, I whoop your ass. That's you know.
Yeah. I think
so that way
like,
when they go to do the thing, they gonna know like, oh, if I do this again, I'm gonna get my ass whooped. Let me not do it. So like if I go to touch that stove, my hand burn, I'm not gonna do that again. You know, like that.
I watched this YouTuber. His name is Kev on Stage, and he's a black father too, and he was saying like a lot of parents, the reason why they were like beating their kids and stuff like that, like whoopings was like a main form of punishment, was because a lot of parents, especially like back in the day, they didn't have time to explain to you like, hey, don't do this, because they was at work, they was doing all the other stuff.
They just come home with your ass.
Right. It's like, okay, I'm gonna like hit you to let you know to not open this door when I leave, because I don't have the time to explain to you why you can't open this door when I leave for strangers. I just need you to know.
And I just got off work. I just pulled an 8-hour shift. I'm stressed.
Exactly. I just need you to know that if you open this door, you're gonna be in trouble. You know. So I think from that aspect, with parents that work all the time and don't have the time to do it, because I think the opposite of this is like talking to your kids, and I think a lot of parents just don't like. That's a lot of energy. Like it takes a lot of time to because when you practice in a sport, it takes you a couple of tries before you get something correct. So it's like the same thing with talking to your kid about doing something wrong.
Then you gotta explain to them why what they did was wrong.
Exactly.
Why is it wrong? Why they shouldn't do it.
Right. So and you gotta do it a couple of times, because you can't expect a kid that has never done this before in their life because they're so young.
Every kid is born with ADHD. That's just what it is. It becomes a diagnosis when they get older and it doesn't go away. Every kid is born with. Don't quote me on that. That's just my my perspective on it. Every kid is born with ADHD. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a mental health specialist, but every kid is born with ADHD, and you go explain something to them, they go and just go run off and go back to playing, and then eventually they go forget what you said and then do it again. And that's where the whooping comes in, because I told you not to do this.
Right.
And you did it again.
I think it also depends on the weight of the crime. Or what the it depends on
criminals.
It depends on what the kid did. So if the kid is I don't know, disrespecting you, then it's hey, you need to know, because kids will try you, man.
But
I'm not
disrespecting how?
Trying to buck up to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Trying,
you gotta knock them out.
Trying to test you. I'm kind of
still. They gonna fail that test.
I'm kind of still a kid myself. I've never done that to my parents or anything like that. I don't think I have. Let me know in the comments if I have. I don't think I ever bucked up to them and tested them. I just wasn't that kind of kid. But my little brother be trying it sometimes. He be bucking up sometimes. I gotta let him know hey, you need
these new
to
kids
chill out. They be bold.
They came out the womb and chose violence.
New kids be bold.
Completely away, off the table, but I try to find other methods. And so I started to take away electronics, because that's her thing. I learned my child and what she responds to.
I have 4 sons, so I don't think that is necessary for everything that they do. Especially, I have 2 teenagers, a 10-year-old and a 1-year-old. So their punishments should all be different. So my sons like to play video games. They like to sit on their phones. And those are the only things that they really just care about, because a whipping is going to last, a few seconds. And they still get to go back to be on their phones and be on their games. So they kind of probably would prefer a whipping. And they know mama going to get tired anyway, because they're some big boys. So it's not going to last.
They get immune to it, because
they do.
Whatever.
They do.
Let me just take this beat and then I'm going to go right back and do whatever I need to do. They get immune to it. And so I've gotten backlash from that, from my family.
Yeah.
But the older generation, they are so gung-ho with that method that if I don't do it, I feel pressured to do it now, because if I'm not doing it and my child's not responding in a certain way, my mom is over here and my dad's you're not raising your child correctly. So the pressure from our own culture and family makes us believe that we have to use that method.
With my 1-year-old, she definitely does get a little tat-tat, because it's more of an attention grabber than it is, I'm trying to hurt you. You get what I'm saying? But the other thing is, because I'm a mother of 3 girls, I don't allow my husband to do any of that. Ever. Right. He's not allowed to put his hands on it. And that was something we talked about prior to getting married. I'm just really cognizant of what that messaging is. If I'm allowing a man to put his hands on them, that's not going to work. Now, and he doesn't have to. When you have a father, he can just say, I'm disappointed, and they melt into tears.
Oh, he just put that bass in his voice.
I was going to say the same thing. With a dad, with daughters, you can just scare them without even lifting a hand. even like a son, like a young son with a grown ass man, that's terrifying. If you just like, hey,
But that,
don't do that. Like
that bass
that's
in your
scary.
voice, that'll shake them.
That'll shake them.
Now with me, they want to try and go back and forth, and I'm not your little friend, But with him, it's like, oh my God, I'm sorry.
You don't want to disappoint daddy.
I would support my child if they chose to be a cop. 3, 2, 1, go.
It doesn't sit well with me. I know it's good to serve the community and the country, but as for my kids, my hearts that are walking outside day to day, I just cannot put them in harm's way. It terrifies me just thinking about it.
Me personally, I've never had a good experience with a cop, ever. The things that we see with how cops treat us as Black people, me having a Black son.
I was thinking about that, like supporting somebody like your child or whatnot, like just somebody being a cop. It's like the whole cop situation right now is crazy. Has been for a while actually, but like I know it's people in there that want to do good, but like as a whole, it's just the majority of it is already too deep, and it's already too deep in that one side for somebody to come in and be like, yeah, I want to do good. I'm being a cop because I actually do want to protect my community and like serve the community and stuff like that. But then you got the bigger whole of it that's like fuck the community. So it's kind of hard to like I wouldn't say it'd be hard to support them, but it'd just be hard to support that idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think like as a parent though, I'm not a parent obviously, but I think as a parent though, like you kind of have to support whatever your kid get into.
You don't have to support everything.
I mean to make it. I mean not anything of course, but like most things just to make it easier for them, because as a kid, the number one thing you want is your parents to be proud of you or your parents to either support you. So like you low key making it harder for your kid get into this already rough career. You making it kind of harder for them if you don't support them.
No, I didn't say not supporting them. I meant like just supporting the idea.
The idea
of being a cop. Supporting the idea of it is like, I don't agree with like the whole you being a cop thing, but if that's what you want to do, I'm not gonna stop you. I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna have your back in this. I just don't. I'm not there with it. I'm not in that same. We're not on the same page. You feel me? I'll still sell your book, but I didn't really read it. Something like kind of like that. If y'all get what I'm.
It's crazy how like when we were younger, like in grade school or whatever, like we wanted to like being a cop or a firefighter or being a president was like.
I ain't never want to be none of those things.
That was my. I wanted to be a president and a lawyer. If you ask me that now, get away from me. I don't want to be the president. I don't want to be a lawyer.
I don't even know what I wanted to be.
Like that. Like lawyer was like my number one. Was like my number one thing. Like I was like, I want to be a lawyer just because it sounds cool and I want to wear a suit and I want to make people proud of me, or I want to become the president. But it's like I don't want to. I'm a lazy person. I don't want to do all that work. That's a lot of work. And being a cop right now, nah, I'm cool. A firefighter, I'm not gonna fight fires. I ain't even do all that. They got tough chins, man.
I'm actually in the position now. My oldest son, he's a junior in high school. And right in the midst of all of this craziness, he gets accepted into this prestigious program that I know nothing of because he wants to be a detective. I can't speak for everyone, but I did not have that feeling like, oh, something is going to happen to him. I told him that he can do whatever he wants to do as long as, he puts his best foot forward.
My child has faced racism. 3, 2, 1, go.
Have you had any instances where you felt like you felt some racism?
None that stick out to me. I think I'm still young. Like I haven't gotten went out. I mean, yeah, but like
just you ain't been out here like that.
Right. I'm very sheltered in the way, like I'm kind of just the way I've grown up. I was kind of protected, not like purposefully. It just happened that way.
Big homebody energy.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, gotcha,
like,
gotcha.
I don't think I've faced racism, at least none. Like maybe none that stuck out to me right now. I'm sure there's been like little things here now where I'm like, you look at me like the way you just looked at me was kind of weird, but like nothing other than that.
Yeah, see, I haven't had anything serious like being assaulted or anything, or being called, by anybody. But
Bless you.
thank you. But at work and whatnot, because I worked at Starbucks for a year.
Oh, that's the yeah.
And I definitely felt some energy there. I definitely felt some energy, because it'd be times where it was me and it was two other black people. It was a black guy and a black girl, and the rest of the staff was majority white or Latino. And it'd be times where I finish my task, wipe down the counter, no customers. I'll sit back for like a good minute, looking, just chilling, taking a little breather. I'm on work. I've been back and forth all day. You know how Starbucks get, Russians and whatnot. You know how Starbucks get. It's crazy up in there.
It's crazy.
Just did my thing, sit back for a little second, take a little breather, relax. And then here come my manager. Hey, you don't be leaning on the counter. Don't be sitting there just doing nothing. There's always something to do, right? Instantly run out, because she watching the cameras. Instantly run out and come check me. But then let Miss Sarah, Susie, Ashley, be sitting next to me on her phone doing nothing. Say nothing to her. I got snitched on because when it's crazy. This was during COVID time. Nothing's really going on in the store. We only having one customer per hour, right? I got snitched on because in the middle of me sweeping and mopping, I decided to check a text message, right? But it's plenty of people that walk around, plenty of employees, co-workers that walk around on their phones, listening to music and everything. Ain't heard nothing about them getting snitched on. Nothing. I got written up twice.
They just didn't like you.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Got written up twice because I was on my phone. But here's the real kicker. The person that snitched on me to the manager, after the manager wrote me up, a day, I think it was either the day later or later that same day, I go back there and they're on their phone. Mind you, this is the manager and it's my shift leader who's supposed to be out there working. She's on her phone talking to the manager. It's like, oh yeah, I was going to get this in my house. This looks so good. This looks so nice. And they just sitting there talking about nothing.
What you do?
I just looked.
Oh, wait. Hey. Put the phone down.
I thought of that.
Clean the
but
desk.
like,
Y'all doing?
I thought of that. Like coming in and like saying something. But it's like the manager ripped me up. The person she's talking to snitched on me. So these are the people that was out to get me because I was on my phone. And they're sitting here talking about something on the phone. There's nothing you can say because they obviously don't care.
I mean, yeah, like...
There's nothing you can say. You can say something, be like, hey, yo, didn't I just get written up for this? Nothing ain't gonna happen because they obviously in cahoots and they obviously don't care. And guess what? Guess what color they was?
I can't...
It wasn't this.
I said disagree because my daughter is 3 and all the kids around her age are at a stage of just realizing what colors are. Like a couple weeks ago, my daughter just told me that she was brown. Abby's always usually the only black girl, and a lot of the white kids around her, they actually want to be like her. Like this one girl's like, I want to have skin like Abby. I want my hair to be curly like Abby, mom. Like they're literally tugging on their mom's dresses. Like it's kind of weird, but at least it's not negative, you know. And I don't want her to experience that at her age.
One that stands out to me when I have to get involved, because I try and teach them how to defend themselves and their culture. But when this teacher accused my daughter of stealing, then that was a whole nother conversation that I had to get into. And she had no proof. I brought the principal in. She was like, well, she looks like she stole.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, now
She's
it's
okay.
gonna be
That's
different,
now
really.
that's
'Cause I was
blatant.
like,
That's right in
what
your
do you
face.
mean
Yeah,
she
that's-
looks like she would steal?
Yeah, that's
Do you have
right in
proof
your
that she
face.
stole? Well, she was the only one that was standing around the desk, and so my daughter was like, "Well, Mom, can I say something?" I was like, "You sure can." She was like, "Well, Valerie was standing by the desk too, but she didn't look like she stole anything."
Oh.
I ain't gonna tell y'all what
She
I
said
said,
Valerie.
but I said a few things. But my daughter,
That-
she asked me,
the-
"Did she say that because
What's
I'm black?"
the boldness of people like that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
you said that in front of her mama. Your
front of
child
the
looked like
principal.
she stole.
In front of the principal too. In
This
front of
other
your
kid
boss.
don't look like she stole. Like what?
They was both by the table.
What? You are bold. You are bold.
Ain't no hiding that.
I said, "Yes,
Yeah.
baby, she did."
Joe Biden is invited to the cookout.
Huh.
3, 2,
I ain't even got to
One.
pause for this. No.
Right? No.
Here's the thing about Joe.
Nah, I don't want to hear what
I
none of
feel
them got to say. I want to hear
Barack
what
Obama
she
made
has
Joe
to say.
Biden look better than what we thought. And I don't think that Joe Biden's racist. Well, I'm not gonna say that. I don't know if he. Don't look at me like that, Latrice. I don't know if he's racist or if he's just extremely senile. Because a lot of the interviews, I'm just like, it might just be time to go golf for the rest of your life. It's enough. And if you're gonna be,
I will say
invited
this.
to-
I'm not up to date on politics and whatnot, so I
I'm not
can't,
either.
I'm not as up to date and well educated on the politics and the presidents and all the senators and all that stuff and everything, but I will say no.
Wait, hold on.
something like the cookout, which is
I'm just like, we are like politics and like just the people up there on that pedestal, like all like the president and the politicians and stuff like that. We are so skeptical of them. I don't know if what Joe was doing for black people was because he genuinely thought that way, or if it was because like, I'm gonna get the votes. Like
You never know.
don't know. I'm
You
just
never
happy that we
There's
got
it's a
the
running
orange guy
joke
out of there.
in TV and stuff like that, like just people campaigning and saying this and that.
I think
and
that's
making
where it
these
comes from for
promises
me.
and not, not following up on it, which I feel like it's true.
experience. You got to do better.
You can't trust him. I
Right.
don't know.
Can't trust
He
nobody.
had
That's
me
what I'm
bamboozled.
thinking, same thing.
I really was rocking for Joe, but now I'm like, I'm with
I
you,
feel like
Janelle.
people
Are you sick
went
now?
for Joe because they just didn't want Trump anymore.
That's what
I feel like
I said that earlier. Like we just wanted to get the orange guy out of there.
Yeah.
So Joe was the next best thing, and he was, at least to the public eye, he was for black people, and he was better than Trump. But
yeah, at the end of the day, that's all I saw was that's all I saw. I don't know, like I said, not well educated and up to date, but that's all I saw.
what
better than
Joe?
Trump.
Oh
Better
yeah,
than
better than
Trump.
Trump. Yeah.
Or do you just be lying?
Now I wish I would have changed my answer to NA because I don't feel like I'm applicable to answer this question because I have no idea what she's talking about. And I'm just going off of Love and Hip Hop. So
No, not Joe Budden.
Oh my
Under Joe
Joe
Biden.
Biden. Oh,
people
I
assume
know she
that-
lying. She gotta be playing, right? She gotta be playing. She has to be playing. Because even if she thought of the wrong person, why would a black guy not be invited to the cookout? That doesn't even make sense. Like, what?
I ain't got nothing to say.
Okay.
I'm speechless
Okay.
right now. I ain't
I'm
got
a
nothing to
single
say on
mother.
that.
Okay.
3, 2,
Jesus
1,
Christ.
go.
But I feel like for me personally, I've felt it mentally. Like if I know my husband's at home, I would think that
People, I say people think I'm a single mother.
someone else is thinking that I'm a single
Okay,
mom.
let's
Like
see. It says people think I'm a single mother. I guess I could say I see why. It is
It's a very stereotypical thing.
stereotypical, but it's real prevalent, I guess. from what I see, from my perspective, I do see a lot of single black mothers. You know, from my perspective, so I can see why. Once you see that so much, you know, you see a black woman with her child, and it's like you don't think about a father. You feel me? You think about a father, and like I've hearing a lot about how like it's like the whole systematic thing, get the black men out the household. I hear about that a lot, but like I feel like from my perspective, I can see that being a thing, because that's like that's what I see. That's what I see all the time.
I would say it's more highlighted, I guess, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot more where I'm pretty sure there are a lot of single white moms, you know, but people don't really assume
They don't talk
that,
about it like that.
right? People don't assume that if you see a white mom with her kids, they don't assume that she's by herself, you know. But people do that for black women, and it's kind of it's messed up, but it's just, you know, it's how it is.
It's crazy.
Like, it just kind of stresses me out because I know that I'm not, and it's honestly not a bad thing anyways. My mom was a single mom, so was my aunt. They raised all of us together, so I know it can be done.
I actually had a really crazy experience. Right before I gave birth to my son, I was shopping. Beautiful young black woman comes up to me. She's like, "Oh, how far along are you?" And we're talking, and she starts giving me like these resources for single pregnant women, and I'm just like, wow. I was like, thank you so much, but I'm actually happily married, and you know, my husband's he was somewhere out of town or something like that. And she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I'm just like, it's crazy how just because you see a woman by herself and she either has kids or she's pregnant, I would just think, oh, she must be a single mother. So there's so many biases that I had to check after I had my child and during my pregnancy.
Let's give it up for single moms, because I couldn't do it.
That is true. They be out here doing their thing.
It's rough.
They be doing their thing. They be able to have a child at home and work, and that's a lot. It is.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. We've had single moms, I guess, right? Like, we both had single moms, I guess, right? At least in like a certain period of time. So
I had a single mom my whole
your life, yeah. Yeah. It's still, I mean, listen, I couldn't do it. Take care of all these kids, especially the single moms that got more than one kid.
I don't even want to take care of kids, period.
Man,
you took care of kids and went to work.
And made dinner, like, and did the laundry, and did
the school.
Man, shout out to all the moms out there, singled and occupied, I guess.
Yeah.
Occupied.
Single and
entangled.
Married.
Seeing somebody.
We don't know the
being, you know,
coupled,
talking to somebody, you know, just smashing.
Just shout out to you.
Smashing.
Just shout out to you.
Shout out to you. And shout out to everybody that stayed to end this video. You know, shout out to you too. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe,
all of that good
share
stuff.
With your friends. Comment down below what videos you like to see us react to next. It can be controversial. It can be something as interesting as this. This is fun. I like it.
If you'd like to see us do anything else,
hit us up.
Let us know.
Comment. Yo, check out our gaming channel. We got a bunch of videos over there. We do a bunch of games. That was our first channel. Check us out.
Yes,
like, comment, subscribe over there too. And we up out of here. It's been your boy, KC.
And I am Cisco.
We are King's Crew. See y'all later. Peace.